Mark DiBiase, come up and speak.
Thank you. See, I just handed it to the technician and let him do his thing. All right, we'll stand back. That's a little hot mic. Yeah, okay. It is good to be back at this club. This is a great club. The food is fabulous. I understand that, who's the Rotarian who owns this place?
Stephen O'Neill.
Stephen O'Neill. Stephen, is he here? Well, I'm sure this isn't his biggest moneymaker that he does. So, but make sure you thank Stephen. It's great to have somebody who owns the venue to kind of make a good experience for the club experience while you're here. I'm so pleased and honored, actually, to give away these Paul Harris Fellows. The foundation is such an important part of what we do. It really is the engine that makes things run. And this club, very impressive, $642,000 is the number I think I heard over the lifetime of the club. That is a very impressive number. And I was blessed this week to be in Memphis at our Zone Institute, where people in the Heart of America Zone get together. And I got to hear a list of some of the projects, just a small snapshot of the projects that we've accomplished with these funds. And when you hear those stories, when you hear about that impact, you really feel like you're making a difference. So those donations and your donations that you continue to make, they make a real difference. I want you to know that. Some of you are probably wondering, why am I hearing from this guy again? Because district governor job, like the president job, is a one-year term typically. But Nettie Winters, who was to follow me as district governor, he had gotten ill during the training period last year and was unable to complete the training. Got ill, had a 3-month recovery, excuse me, and during that 3-month recovery was the training. So he was unable to go through the training, and RI won't let you serve unless you make some allowance for that. And I'm glad he took care of his health. He did the right thing there. But certainly we'll miss him. Hopefully he'll get back in line. That's what I told him, and be involved going forward. So as such, they asked me if I could serve another year, and it's a great reward and a great honor to be able to serve. Really, all 1,887 members in our district of really solid, great people in their communities and in our clubs. I encourage you, if you've never been to another Rotary club, to go visit one. And you're going to find that those club members are just like you, people with a heart of service, but people who are really leaders in their community and making those connections across all of central Mississippi. Because I am district governor again, I get to talk a lot about Rotary, and I could talk a lot about what we do as Rotary, because we do a lot of great things. But I'm not going to talk about what we do today. I'm going to leave that to your club leadership under Matt's leadership here, and Don and Marissa and the rest of the team. Lori, I know, is coming up as a leader, so as president-elect. But stay in touch with your newsletter, your emails. Pay attention to those. Be involved in your club. We send out a district newsletter. If you get it, raise your hand. Let me see if you. Okay. If you don't, get your updated email to your club president. Because we do a lot of good things as Rotarians, right? What we do, we know what those are. We give away dictionaries. We have a Reading Buddies program here. Billy Brumfield, work you do there, serving meals. We do a lot of great work. We give away scholarships. We give to the foundation, and we give money to other worthy organizations in our communities that make a real difference. And all those things are very, very important. It's part of what we do. But today, I want to talk about something much more important. I want to talk about why we do it. Okay? Why do you belong to Rotary? Okay? Why do you come here every week? Why do you give to the foundation? Or conversely, why do you not give to the foundation? I think it's important that we ask the question why, right? Because, it's the why of something that kind of, leads us to making changes in our life that sometimes we don't ask that question because we're maybe unwilling to change or unable to make certain changes, because the why of something, of why we're doing something, we're afraid to maybe ask that. We as human beings, we like the whats of our life, right? We like to know like myself, that I'm going to church on Sunday, and my staff meetings on Tuesday, and Thursday's Rotary. We like a schedule of the what we're doing this week because it gives us a little certainty in our lives, and it gives us like a tempo or a pace. But I think asking why is the most important thing we can do about anything that we do. So today I'm asking you, why do you belong to Rotary? And that could be a very challenging question to you. And you have two options when you have a challenge, right? You rise to that challenge, or you completely ignore it and turn the other way, right? Those are your other options. But it is the why of something that is important. It's the why that actually is masked a lot by what we do. So if you think about it this way, it's the why that defines our purpose, and it's the what that we do to get there. So let me give you an example. Let's think about a musician. Even the best prodigies in the world have to practice over and over and over. They have to learn music theory. They have to play with other musicians. They have to listen to music. And the question is, why? Why would somebody do that? And you say, myself, for fame and fortune, right? Everyone wants to be a famous musician. Well, the question now is, who's the most famous musician from this area, 50 years ago? You probably don't know the answer to that question. So that just proves that fame is an outcome, and it certainly is fleeting, right? Because we don't know that name. So the question is, why? Why? Yeah, I knew it's always debatable too. That's right. So why? Why does somebody practice all those hours? Why does she do it? Well, she does it because it defines who she is, right? It fulfills her own need, okay? He may practice all those hours because he wants to be known as a musician, okay? So the why kind of defines us, and it's the what that we do that to get to the why. So we talk a lot. We reviewed the four-way test here. Everybody knows the Rotary motto: service above self, one profits most, who serves best. But you probably have never heard the Rotary vision statement. So I'm going to let you hear it so you know what it is, but here it is. So the Rotary vision statement is, together we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. So there's an and in there, so I'm going to break it down to two sentences, okay? First, together we see a world where people unite. If COVID-19 lockdowns taught us one thing, it taught us the importance of human connection, right? How many people went home that first week or even the first couple months and learned something called Zoom, right? Try to maintain those connections, okay? In some cases, we went back in the face of this deadly disease, went back to our homes, and we reevaluated those important connections in our lives and kind of said, are we paying enough attention to this? Am I paying enough attention to this? And maybe we've strengthened those bonds with family and friends or people in our community. In some cases, people went home and experienced a great deal of loneliness. One of the key, focus areas that our president of RI International wants us to focus on this year with our theme, with Create Hope in the World, is around mental illness. And, mental illness, especially with the uptick in suicides that we've had recently, and a lot of that is related to that loneliness that some people experienced during the COVID-19 lockdowns. In some cases, during the COVID-19 lockdowns, some people went home and said, this is great. I don't have to talk to anybody at work. I can be home, right? My wife was one of those people. She was a dog person anyway, so she was glad. But the truth is that we as human beings, we are social animals, right? I mean, certainly technology speeds it up, right? And lets us reach longer distances and more often. But the truth is that we all have a basic human need within each of us, and that is that basic human desire to feel like we belong, like we're part of something, we're united to something, we're part of a family, we're part of a group. Let me give you an example that I think everybody in this room can relate to. How many people are born and raised in Mississippi or been here a long time? Okay, long time meaning anything over 10 years, let's say. All right, how many times you've been traveling? Maybe you go to New York or maybe California, whatever it is, and that's not a long time, yeah. And let's say you're traveling And you go to get a cup of coffee, and you're talking to the waitress, and she doesn't have my accent. She maybe talks a little, has a better accent. And you say, hey, where are you from? They say, well, I'm from Mississippi. And you'll say, well, I'm from Mississippi too. I'm from Greenville. Where are you from? Well, I'm from Jackson. Oh, okay. Do you know so and so? You ever eaten at such and such? Okay. Do we have a mutual friend? At so and so. You immediately strike up a conversation with her. Now, she may ask you, what are you doing in town? Why are you here in LA this week? And you might say, well, I'm here with my family. We're going to Beverly Hills and we're seeing the sights of, southern LA. And they'll say, well, while you're here, you need to go down to the Santa Monica Pier and eat at, Bubba Gump's shrimp restaurant on the pier. What do? Well, you pack up your family and you're going to Bubba Gump Shrimp over there, right, in Santa Monica Pier. Now, here's a total stranger, right? Perfect stranger. You don't know their taste in food or anything, but you share a bond with that person, right? And that bond is you belong to Mississippi. Mississippi is a great community that you belong to, and that connection to Mississippi, that feels very real to us, that sense of belonging. Well, that's what Rotary is. It's that belonging. You belong to a group of leaders in their community, not just in your community, but across this world, in 36,000 clubs, 1.4 million members, a community of leaders who are making a difference every day in their community. So together, we see a world where people unite. We're united in that cause of making our communities better. The second part of that is, well, why? To take action, to create lasting change across the globe in our communities and in ourselves. As human beings, we have a finite existence, okay? Time is a constraint that we all live under. But there's something within us, there's something about how we're built that we feel or have a desire to leave something bigger than just our finite years here on earth. We feel a larger connection to something longer, something lasting, something that matters, okay? And because we feel that connection, that's what Rotary helps fulfill in us. It is that opportunity. It is the opportunity presented to you as a leader in your community to make a difference in your community and across the globe as well. How many times have you been up here and had a speaker, and he may be older now, but he may say, when I was 18, I got a Rotary scholarship, right? Has that happened here? It's happened so many times in my club, I've lost count. Because you have made those people who were Rotarians there 20 years ago, they made a lasting impact. It impacted that individual. And Rotarians, we do that. We do that apart. We're all leaders in our own right, but we do it together. And that's the power of Rotary, when we do that together and we sit down and we share that meal together. People ask me, well, why do I belong to Rotary? And everybody has their own question. Well, I belong to Rotary because I belong to a group of people who share my values and my beliefs, okay? A belief that intergenerational, positive, and constructive human relationships amongst leaders and doing good in the world is important. It's important to me, okay? And it's an important marker in my life that is what I'm going to be doing. That's something I want to stand for. And trust is a very important concept to leaders coming together, right? You want to trust the leaders that are next to you. And that's part of the reason why we share a meal together. We share a meal. You don't share a meal with a total stranger. Nobody went through their morning walk, saw a total stranger and said, you coming over for coffee later? Okay? It doesn't happen. But that's why we share a meal together, is to build that trust, to have that communication, to talk to somebody, find out more about them, find out about what they believe in, what they're passionate about, and some of those things are their community and making a difference in the community. And when we come together and work together, we make a real difference. We really do. So enough about why I belong to Rotary. We're going to talk about why, as I said at the beginning, why do you belong to Rotary? So what I'd like you to do is, in front of you, there's a piece of paper and a pen. Everybody should have one. If you don't, my wife will. If you don't, my wife can give you one. Now, you have a pen and a paper. I want you to know right now, you get to keep both. You're not turning this into me. This is not my pen. This is not my paper. This is your pen to keep. And if you're a younger person, it's got a stylus on the other end. So you can use this pen no matter what age you are, okay? All right, so what I'd like you to do is there's 5 lines. So on the first line, this is a little exercise. So what I'd like you to do on the first line, I'd like you to write down, why do I belong to Rotary? You're answering this question for yourself. Why do I belong to Rotary? Now, that could be anything. You might say, I don't know why, but you might say whatever reason you want to give. Why do I belong to Rotary? And no more heckling out there. I'm getting a little heckling from my own wife here. Not sure how I feel about that. Okay. Now, on the second line, this is what I'd like you to write down. Okay. Well, you don't have to write it all on there. If you could just write a note to remind yourself. That's funny. It is only, that's good. We have an English writer. That's good. You probably, on the second line, what I'd like you to write down is the answer to this question. What do you like most about the club? What is the thing you like most about your Rotary Club? The thing that you appreciate most about your Rotary Club. That can be anything from the food. You know, our club, everybody loves the fried chicken. It could be the food. It could be the fun. Whatever you want to write down there. What do you like most or appreciate most about your Rotary Club? All right. Now, on the third line, again, it's just an exercise. This is for your own benefit. I'd like you to write this down. What is the one thing that my club can get better at or can improve upon to make my Rotary experience better? What is the one thing that my club could get better at or improve upon to make my Rotary experience better? The only thing you can't write on this line is district governor visits. Okay, okay, you're not allowed to write that down. We already got that feedback. Somebody said, we'd like to see less of the district governor, so I lost 10 pounds. So you're seeing less of them. But by the same token, I will say that I've gained those 10 pounds back visiting all these clubs, because there's a lunch at every one of them. All right, does anyone want to share with the group why they belong to Rotary, what they feel like the greatest strength of this club is, or maybe an improvement area of the club? Anybody? Why do you belong to Rotary?
That's the first question. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, why do you belong to Rotary? Want to share?
To serve.
To serve. That's right. To serve others. Very good. Yep, very good. All right. Anybody else?
To join the other people who want to serve.
To join with other people who want to serve. That's right. Okay, good. All right. How about a strength or an improvement area of the club? Anybody? Everybody's looking away from the speaker at this point. That's how that goes, right? All right, that's okay. It's an exercise. Now, hopefully, when we get to the fourth line here, this won't start feeling like a test. What I'd like you to do on the fourth line is I'd like you to write down the name of somebody that you can ask to belong to your club. So write down the name of somebody that you can ask to belong to your club. Now keep in mind, this could be a business associate, maybe a second generation business associate, could be a family member, could be someone from your church, could be something from your neighborhood, could be someone you do business with, whatever that is. Think of a name of somebody that you can invite to belong to Rotary. Don't worry about if they're going to say yes or no. Just, is this somebody who's a leader in their community who could belong to Rotary? And you can't cheat off of one another. I saw him write down a name, and I see you writing the same thing down. Okay? A little tougher. Now it feels like a test, right? All right, well, it's going to feel even more like a test. All right, so I'm going to share some information with you about Rotary membership in general. Some of these statistics I share with you may be a little startling, but something you may want to know about Rotary. Rotary understands one thing, that if we want to serve a community, we need to be representative of that community. So let me give you an example. If you were going to start a group of disabled veterans and helping disabled veterans, you may want to have in that group veterans, disabled veterans, people who are maybe siblings or family members of disabled veterans, someone who maybe professionally helps with that, and other people of interest, but you would have a representative group. Rotary is no different. So think about Rotary and think about the membership. If you look at a Rotary membership, you'll find that when you look at our male to female relative to our community, we're about 50% here in central Mississippi. That's our district. We're about 50% men, 50% women. When you look at our membership, we as a district are at 25.5% female members. Okay, only 25% of our members are in Rotary. Now, you may say to yourself, "Oh, come on, women only been able to join the club 35 years ago. we were still working on this." Well, I want to compare us to the rest of the zone. So we are in what's called the Heart of America zone. Okay, we have one of 31 districts. Okay, so there's 31 district governors. And in central Mississippi, or in this Heart of America zone, there are 31 districts, and they're in the following states. It's Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Missouri, Southern Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, back to Mississippi, okay? So these are people that we share a lot in common with when it comes to politics. We maybe even know what sweet tea is. We're supposed to order tea, it's supposed to come sweet, maybe we know what fried chicken's supposed to taste like. We have a lot in common with these people. In our zone, 1 out of 3 people, or 33% of our members, are female. So our district, out of the 31 districts, is second to last. Okay, when it comes to that. Now, another statistic. When you look at our population of Rotarians relative to the general population of our area, we are woefully underrepresented when it comes to people of a different race, or a different ethnicity, or different religion. Okay, we are woefully underrepresented. Lastly, if you think about when your professional career starts. You are maybe you're come out of college, 21, 25. Well, if you look at 25 to say 70, okay, and say that's the group, from 25 to 40, only 7% of our members are under 40. If you look at the next 15 years, 40 to 55, and then 55 to 70, we're evenly split. But the number of Rotarians under 40 is only 7%. This is why line 5 feels like a test. What I'd like you to do on line 5 is write down the name of someone that you can invite to Rotary that is either 1, a different sex than you, 2, a different race or ethnicity than you, or 3, somebody who is under 40. So I'll give you a moment to think about that. Again, sometimes we think we are talking to people who are our age typically, and we don't think about that next generation of leaders. So I want you to think about people you interact with, the sons and daughters of business leaders perhaps, or somebody else who services you or helps you in your business, or maybe is involved in that. And try to think of a name for line 5 if you could. Okay, people are looking up at me either stunned or they're looking at me because they've already written the name down. So either way, we're going to move forward. So what I'd like to do now is have you flip the piece of paper over. There's always and now this is a test, so now, it feels like a test. So this is the big test. Okay, so the last question, the final grade, this is 50% of your test, is I want you to think about the names 4 and 5 that you put on your list, and I want you to write down the name of the person that needs to invite those 2 people to join Rotary. Okay, you should write your own name down there, right? You don't write down Matt's, you don't write my name down, okay? But it's you, right? That's right, yeah, me. So there's a speaker called Simon Sinek. Have you ever heard of him? He writes a lot of motivational books and what have you. He talks about leadership as a choice, okay? It doesn't matter how rich you are, how smart you are, or what position or rank you have. When you decide to help the person to the right of you and to help the person left of you, you have become a leader. It's only when you involve yourself that you can make a difference. So what have I left you with here? A piece of paper and a pen, right? Well, I've left you with more than that, okay? I've left you with your elevator speech. I've left you with your pitch. You have a why, 2 whats, and 2 great leads. So what I'd like you to do, because you belong to this club, is the next coming days, weeks, months, I want you to look at the names 4 and 5 on that list. I'd like you to go to them and say, I belong to this group called Rotary, and this is why I belong to Rotary. And one of the things I like most about my club, and you write down give them what's on line 2. And you might be very realistic with them and say, one of the things my club needs to get better at is attracting younger people. I believe that you can help us with that. Will you come to a meeting and consider belonging to this club with me? Remember, this club experience, how much Rotary matters to you, depends on how you involve yourself. You have to make that leadership choice to involve yourself. And I encourage you to do that, to share that gift of Rotary with others. Now, I saw a lot of stunned looks on their face, so I'm aware of that. And that's why I've left you this pen, okay? This pen is a Rotary pen. I'd like you to make this your reminder for the week, okay? Change out your normal pen, make this your pen for the week. And if you don't use a pen, stick it in your pocket. But every time you touch it, feel it, see it, think about it, I want you to say, who did I interact with today? Did I ask them to join Rotary? Will this person in front of me make a good Rotary member? And maybe you take out your pocket at the end of the day when you're doing the laundry. Ask the same question. Let this be your reminder to ask and to others to belong to your club, to strengthen your club so that you can do great things and answer the why of your own life. I'm going to close with a story about Rotary that I think best exemplifies to all of us the power and the importance of Rotary. On March 24th of this year at 8 p.m. at night, a F4 tornado ripped through the town of Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Homes were destroyed, businesses were lost, and grievously lives were lost. And in that pitch black dark, the citizens of Rolling Fork came out from underneath the rubble and witnessed the destruction before them. And what they had worked for their entire lives was gone. And all they had left was why. Why am I here? Why am I still here? Why am I here at all? And that why drove their next what, okay? If that why was their family, they went and looked for their family. If that why was my family's safe, where's my friends, where's my neighbors, where's my business associates? They wanted to reach out and help those people. An event like that clarifies very much for all of us as human beings why we need to be here. And I'm proud to say, because there was a Rotary Club in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Rotarians across this district, all clubs, just about every club, and across this district and that club itself started making a difference right away. Delivered goods. We had them within 24 hours. We had Rotary pouring in, all Rotarians delivering stuff. Starkville drove across the state, had truckloads of water, as an example. That's just one example. And I'm proud to say, because there was a Rolling Fork Rotary Club, we were able to raise over $270,000 towards the rebuilding of that town. And that's everybody who made that donation, including many of you. If you remember that night, some of you do, the tornado went across the eastern or the western border and went across the eastern border of Mississippi. So we went through a lot of other towns that day. A lot of those towns didn't have Rotary clubs. A lot of those other towns are not benefiting from $270,000 and from over 2,000 Rotarians reaching out and helping. If you ever question why you belong to Rotary, it's so you can build that community, so you can answer that question of why. Why am I here? Why am I making a difference? And we should use that relationships that we have between each other and the power of all these leaders together in a room. We should use that in our everyday lives, not just in time of struggle, but in our everyday lives to make that difference. And I appreciate every one of you that do that, and all those who are, maybe you're new to this club. I don't know who you are, but if you're new, recognize that, and please be involved in your club. Make a difference in your club. Build that community. Be that positive force in your community. Thank you so much for your attention. I salute you. Good to be back here.
We want to thank Mark and Rhonda for being here. For those of you that don't know, they travel all over the state and they make an appearance at every single Rotary Club in the district. So it's truly an honor to have y'all.